he is like, I kid you not, the horniest character I've come across in an otome game. I'm sitting there going, what is going on? Like, I kid you not, the first bit of this route. Hello Peach Tubers! It's Luli, and today I'm going to be talking about an otome game called Fortissimo, or Fortissimo in English, I guess. This is an unlocalized otome game, therefore only available in Japanese, but what I'll be doing today is literally talking about the dodgiest, deepest, darkest secrets of all the idols that appear in this game. You're welcome. So, as you can probably guess, it is a spoiler video because I'll be, you know, talking about like the backstories and issues all of the idol members have. So what I'll be doing is literally like the plot and then go through all the characters and why they were so dodgy and why the roots were so angsty, as well as like how I overall felt about it in the end. But anyway, without further ado, let me start. So the plot is basically that you're a manager, you're like a newbie manager, and you start taking care of this idol group, Fortte. And so, you know, you think it's a very happy, usual idol game. I was thinking like Uta no Princess-sama, or, you know, like an idol game, you know, like where it's all happy and yeah, you've got to keep it a secret that you're in love with this idol. But other than that, it's all like pretty happy-go-lucky type of thing. Oh, how wrong I was. Like, honestly, this is probably one of the angstiest games I've ever played, so much so that I couldn't play it in one go. I had to play like one character and then leave a gap and then play another and then leave a gap because some of the characters made me feel so depressed. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is not good. But anyway, so you're this manager, and of course as the manager you get to know some of these, you know, idols, and then you end up falling in love with them, and yeah, it's all very great until you discover the issues. So anyway, let me continue on. I will talk about just each of the characters. Firstly, I'm going to talk about Agento. Now, this guy is the leader of Fortte. Yeah, so on first look, you know, he's cute, he's confident, he's your typical idol group leader. He has lots of fans, naturally, and he's just really cool. And of course, the manager ends up falling for him as well because he's quite friendly, regardless of who you are. And so I guess she couldn't help but end up liking him, which, okay, fair enough, whatever. But, oh, but a big but. So, after, you know, seeing the interaction and then seeing the manager pitifully liking Agento and him not, you know, giving back the attention, and you know, it feels really pitiful because you look at this manager and she's not exactly like someone that you would aspire to be. She's very ordinary and average, and she's like pitifully chasing after Agento, and already you're feeling a little bit like, oh, this is cringy, I don't like it. But then for him to not reciprocate the emotions, and then, you know, you're going through it and you're like, obviously you're rooting for the main character, except one day you discover that he is actually in love with his sister. Yeah, I know. Like blood relative sister. And the way she finds this out is basically his sister ends up getting engaged and is about to have a baby, and he finds this out in like the news, and he goes into like this depression and can't act, he can't sing, he can't do anything, and he's like all depressed, and it's just like so depressing because he's like obsessed with this sister, and I'm talking like obsessed, like he is in love with his sister, and there isn't much she can do, but she can't help but like him. And in my mind I'm like, girl, just stop liking him, move on. Easily said than done, I get it, but you know, it's just so much cringe, and you're sitting there going, and then he's obviously like, he does make a move on her, but it's not in a genuinely I like you kind of way. It's in like a, oh, fine, I'll reciprocate, aren't you happy? And like forcefully kisses her, and it's like, it's all really uncomfortable because he clearly doesn't like the main character. He's just kind of almost looking for a rebound, and it's just really uncomfortable throughout basically the latter half of the route. Like, obviously the beginning was uncomfortable in that you're watching the main character pitifully chase after this guy that clearly has no interest because he's in love with his sister, and then the latter half you're watching this character depressed for most of it while the main character still likes him, and it's just all so much cringe, and I was just like reading it going, oh my god, what is this? And this is my first route, bearing in mind. I think you're supposed to play him a little bit later, but I couldn't help it because I was just like, I just wanted to get him done because he was like the poster boy. But oh, what a roller coaster it was. Obviously, in the end, he ends up liking her. His bad end wasn't too bad, actually, because his good end was just, they live happily ever after. And his bad end was just that the manager's boss ends up liking her and is like, oh, do you really want to go for this guy that was into his sister and, all of this. And it's not really that impactful of a bad ending, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, it was the roller coaster of the route that it just exhausted me. I was like, what is this? I can't deal with this. I want the main character to be like someone I aspire to be, not this craziness. Anyway, so that's Agent's secret. Next up is Bjor. Again, this is another cool cat. I mean, okay, they're all kind of cool because they're idols, but he's very he gives a very mature feeling. He's often giving advice to the main character in kind of almost a mean way, because at the very beginning, the main character's like a bit of a klutz. She has no clue about fashion. She doesn't care about the way she looks. She's a bit of a mess, really. And then he's always like, look, I want you to represent the idol group, so you need to look good and all of this. And he gives her lots of fashion advice because, as well as being an idol, he does a lot of modeling work. And yeah, all very nice. However, again, he also has a dark secret. He has a thing for Agento. Yeah, so, he's basically madly in love with essentially his best friend, and knows that his best friend is in love with his his best friend is in love with that, his sister, like I just said. So, it's like this weird relationship going on where, it's kind of cute in a BL way, but as it's an otome game and that's one of the love interests, it's just super awkward because you're sitting there going, okay, again, the main character likes this guy, but he likes someone else. And it happens to be his best friend who's there all the time. And, the whole route is about him, trying to get over this. He can't help but, be in love with Agento. And, it's difficult because as an idol, he needs to be very full, into women almost. I think he's bisexual because he obviously ends up with the manager in the end, in the good ending. But it's just a very awkward route. Now, this one I didn't mind so much because I ended up more rooting for him to get with Agento. Obviously that doesn't happen, but part of me was like, oh, they should just get together. Agento can get over his stupid sister issues and, they can be cute together and just keep it a secret because they're idols and obviously they're not supposed to date anyone or whatever. But so it wasn't too bad. It's just, it was all a bit awkward again because the manager is so into Bjor, but he's not reciprocating. I must say though, his route was probably one of the steamiest out of all of them. There is a scene where they get drunk and they end up sleeping together, and it's kind of the way it happens, the build up is on point, so I recommend it for those who play on localized and steamy games because his route was honestly borderline R18 in my opinion. Obviously you don't see much, but the way it was described, I kind of thought, oh, okay, that's going somewhat far. But yeah, his darkest secret is that he's just so into his best friend, and I mean borderline obsessive. All he thinks about is his bloody best friend, and you're like, oh my god, please. You're a love interest. Oh god, it was just so, I think that's the frustration, you've got this main character and she starts liking them, and then she keeps on discovering these things about like each of the characters, and it's just so frustrating because in reality it would kind of be like, just stop. You know. But anyway, so that was Bjor. It wasn't as angsty as Agent's obsession with his, you know, blood relatives related sister, but like it was still uncomfortable in that, you know, the main character did have to kind of listen to him and try and make him feel better in a way, and like it was all just unrequited, and the main character chasing after him and all of this. Like, I mean, it's so bad. It's to the extent he called his cat something related to his best friend. Yeah, it was. Anyway, moving on. Now this one was like the most tame. It didn't have that much steaminess. The issue was very understandable, and I didn't feel any sort of angst, to be quite honest, apart from his bad ending, which was a little bit uncomfortable. So he is called Toa, and his issue is that he feels like he's not good enough compared to all the other idols. So he is watching like all the other idols and how they're naturally good at things, whereas he feels like he isn't naturally good at anything at all. So he feels like he has to put double the effort in order to get the same results as everyone else. And so it's working through those confidence issues, and that's that. So I didn't really feel too like, oh my god, this is scandalous or anything like that. It was just more, you feel kind of sorry for him, and in the end he ends up going for university. Like, he doesn't just continue being an idol for a long time, he just kind of ends up going to university and stuff. But he's kind of like the younger brother feel idol character, like for the girls out there who like the younger boy kind of love interest, I guess. And so that's kind of his target audience. But he's so cheeky, you know, he's really cheeky. And but yeah, his room was relatively tame. You didn't really see much skin color, and it was just kind of, it didn't leave much of an impact. Now, the bad ending made me feel uncomfortable in the sense that it was a classic breakup type of ending where, you know, they don't see each other very often, and then he's gone off enjoying like his university life with his friends, and the main character kind of looks at him from afar like, oh, I guess he's moved on with his life. And it's a little bit bittersweet in that sense, where you, because I'm sure there are many of you out there that have experienced that sort of breakup where you drift apart as two people. Like, you used to be really close, but, you know, with time you stop hanging out with each other, and then it's become a situation where you might as well break up. And that's kind of like the bittersweet ending that it was when you went down the bad ending. So I think that was the angstiest part of this route. Okay, so fourth one. Whew. This one was, this is the juiciest one, I think. Oh god. Should I tell you guys? But so it's Osamu, and he was a typical roll cabbage guy, and we call characters that are sort of, they seem very innocent and like laid back, but in actual fact they're really not. Like, they really go for the girl type of thing. Now, his dark secret is he is actually the partner of a love affair of his piano teacher. So he's sleeping with his piano teacher the entire time. Oh god. So yeah, that's kind of like the scandal, and obviously pictures get taken and he almost gets caught, and like the paparazzi like try and get it out there before like the company stops them, and there's all of that going on. But his piano teacher's married, and he's like casually sleeping with her for fun. So it's like, I'm going to piano classes, like, yeah, sure, whatever. But no, so that's Osamu's secret. He's very like forward, I'm not gonna lie. Like, even with the manager, even while he's sort of with this, like, sleeping with this piano teacher, he's still kind of making a move on the manager in a way, like the main character, and it's all a bit uncomfortable. I think when the main character finds out, it's also uncomfortable because obviously she's gradually liking Osamu, and again, the angst of the main character liking the guy and it being like all uncomfortable because they don't reciprocate like her feelings or anything like that. It's just, yeah, it was uncomfortable. And the bad ending of this route, oh, I hated it so much. So it's basically they're like sleeping together all the time, right? Yes, this game is probably one of the spicier R17 titles. But they're like sleeping together and stuff and like dating, and then the bad ending is he takes a call and it's made very obvious that this call is from another woman. And so he's clearly sleeping with the main character, but also another woman, I don't know who, but like someone clearly. And then the main character just takes it. She's like, oh, it can't be helped. And you're like, what do you mean it can't be helped? Just break up with him. Like, oh my gosh. And I don't even know why he's cheating on the main character, because their like sex life is clearly, you know, going okay, just saying. And so I don't really understand why that happened. It's almost like the game just was out there to get you to like make you feel uncomfortable. But yeah, the way it just, yeah, it was just uncomfortable is probably, I know I've said that word like a billion times, but that's how it felt. So yeah, that's Osamu. Now the final route, oh god, this is probably the one that made me the most uncomfortable. I even tweeted about it because it made me so uncomfortable. And it is Takuma. Now he is probably, so he gives us a very like puppy-like feel, but he is like, I kid you not, the horniest character I've come across in an otome game. I'm sitting there going, what is going on? Like, I kid you not, the first bit of this route, he's jumping on the MC like, oh my god, I'm not getting any action from my girlfriend and I'm feeling riled up. And it's like, Jesus Christ, she's your manager, Takuma. What are you doing? And like, honestly, his sex drive is on a ridiculous level throughout the route. You're just thinking, what is wrong with this guy? And I guess it's not so much a scandal, but like the issue he has is that he's got this girlfriend. Yeah, I know, a love interest that already has a girlfriend at the beginning. It's already uncomfortable anyway because you know that fact. But the whole problem he has is that he's just not getting any action and he's like constantly riled up all the time. I kid you not, that's the route. And then I think his ex-girlfriend now, so his girlfriend was cheating on him, so he breaks up with her, but because he's like quite a puppy character, he's like really upset, and this gets him down, makes him struggle because he ends up in like a car accident because when he found out he was walking across the road, and oh my dear lord, it was all so melodramatic. And then yeah, and then I guess the main character and him are together in the end, as you'd expect. In the good ending, it's like, oh no, I'm worried, what if he doesn't like me anymore? And his friend or someone's like, oh, don't worry, as long as you like, as long as you give him action, it'll be fine. Like, I know, that's like the good ending. And the bad ending, and this really hit hard, it was actually quite horrible because what happens is the main character is constantly saying no to like staying over his house and stuff because obviously the manager and idol relationship is a bit of a dodgy one. Like, you don't want paparazzi catching photos of you. So for a while, you know, he like invites her and she's saying no, but after a while he stops inviting her, and already at this point I'm like, girl, he's got someone else. Like, I mean, it's obvious now. And so my anxiety's going up because I'm like, oh, I know how this is gonna go, right? And then one day she goes to his house because she's feeling a bit like, oh no, he doesn't invite me anymore. And then he's like a bit like reluctant about it, but anyway, she helps him take like this chair or something like up to his room, and then she's like, oh, can I use the bathroom? And he's like, okay, sure. She goes to the bathroom, which is connected to like, you know, the toilet or whatever, and discovers that, you know, she comes across the toothbrush and like pouch and stuff that's clearly girly there, and it's obvious that he's cheating on her, and the way it happens is so like realistic. I was sitting there going, oh my god, this is so depressing because I can literally feel the main character, like how she's feeling, because obviously I've been cheated on a couple of times, so like I know how that feels. And then to witness another girl's toothbrush in your boyfriend's apartment. It's just like, what a way to find out, you know? And so that was a bad ending, and it hit hard. I felt depressed for like 24 hours, I kid you not. And so I thought, okay, I better move on to the last route, which is actually your boss. But he doesn't really have much scandal or anything, so I'm not really going to talk too much about him. He's just cute, and he's a bit like shorter and rude because he's like a secret ally type of thing. But yeah, so no, Takuma's route probably made me feel the most depressed because it was the most relatable, you know, being cheated on. It's a bit like on the same level as Osamu's route, where it's clear that he's seeing another woman. Angst. Honestly, I don't think I've come across another game where there was so much cheating and other women involved. I felt so depressed. The thing is, games like Versh, you know, Shuen no Vidushu, or, you know, Diabolic Lovers, like, horrific things happen, but they're not really realistic, right? So, like, they don't really hit me hard. I'm just like, okay, cool, that's sad, whatever, and I move on. So it doesn't really make me cry or anything, or make me feel uncomfortable. But when it's a really realistic setting, like modern, in an office, or, you know, like relatable things, I just feel like I've been, I don't know, it just hits a bit too close to home in a way. Saying that I did enjoy this game, I was not a fan of the main character, because I'm not gonna lie, this is, like, I know this is really rude, but she just came across as so pathetic and annoying that I didn't like the main character. I don't know, some of you may like her, but personally, she really didn't help herself in any way. She was just such a try-hard, and I was like, please, do you not have any sense of, like, dignity or pride or anything like that? I just watch everything she does and says, and I'd be, like, cringing inside. So I did not get along with the main character, I'm not gonna lie. But I was also, you know, thinking, okay, it's understandable. She's just a bit innocent and ditzy and a bit, like, slow. And I mean, she does work better than me, so credit to her there. But, like, watching her, I was like, this is so much cringe. But the game overall was an interesting and different experience. It wasn't like your stereotypical, I don't know, like, don't get me wrong, I like idle games as well, but like they are quite predictable in what happens, whereas this one, sure, the good endings are predictable because they were all basically, they live happily ever after, but the sort of road to get to that point, it was just like an up and down roller coaster. I was just all over the place. I was on edge throughout the whole thing. I definitely would not recommend it to those with a faint heart, because honestly this game will kill you. But as I said, it was different. It was an interesting experience because of all the angst. I don't think I would want to play another game like this in a row. Maybe after like a few good otome games with like a bit more happiness, I may tackle one similar to this. But no, it was just, I just don't like having other women involved. Like, why is this like already have a girlfriend, you know? Like, that's sort of thing. I don't want my love interests to have girlfriends already. I don't want ex-girlfriends to appear. I don't want, like, just please, he's all mine. Now you know why I like yandere characters. At least they're so obsessed with you that there are no other women in the picture. But yeah, I'd probably give the game like maybe a 3 out of 5, because you could argue 2.5 or 3, but like I think the difference added more to it. If it was just like a bland idle game, I'd probably give it like basically nothing, because I find it so ordinary, plus I don't like the main character. But because there are all these issues that each character had, and they were not really necessarily something I had come across previously in an otome game, I felt like it gave that, like, it was an interesting, you know, it was refreshing, that's the word. And I would recommend it if you're really big into angst. However, warning, the main character really is, I found hard to like, because she's such a try hard, and I'm just sitting there cringing through everything she does, bless her. Like, as I said, I like my main characters to be people that I like aspire to be, and like the crap she goes through, but she lets it happen, you know. She doesn't really like stand up for herself, and she just, it really bothered me so much, especially through like Agent's route. I was like, he's in love with his sister and clearly it's not going to improve anytime soon. And I don't even know why she ended up liking him in the first place, because like, he's an idol and you're a manager. Like, you really need to make those boundaries clear. And he wasn't even that flirty. Like, he was just being friendly and she just kind of took it as flirting, and I was just sitting there going, really? And then the sister thing came out and I was like, oh, here we go. Although that was a shock. You can probably tell because I mentioned it like a billion times. But yeah, all the cheating, the like other women that appeared made this game like the most uncomfortable game I've played. Who knows, some of you may enjoy it. As I said, I would recommend it if you like angst and like all this uncomfortable feeling, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it to those who have like a faint heart and really hate cheaters and all of this, because you know, it's not going to be a fun, pleasant experience. Just no. But there is a lot of steam, because there's a thing called carnival ending. There's like the bad ending, the normal ending, and the carnival ending. And the carnival ending has like some steamy scenes. There are 3 routes where there's a lot of skin colour, and I mean like a lot skin colour, where, you know, I posted a spoiler CG on my Twitter if you wanna have a look. I've also posted it, I think, on my Discord, I don't know. But I had to share it with everyone. But we're talking like, you can only see skin colour type of CGs. So if that's what you're looking for, this game is great. And I would, by the way, save Bjor till last because he's the steamiest, followed by Takuma, I think. In terms of steam levels, I'd put Toa as the least steamy, followed by, I guess, like the boss. And then I think Osamu wasn't, like, he was steamy, but like not in a skin color way. Takuma, Bjor, and Agento was the most steamy, but Agento, they really only get together right at the end. Up until that point, he's just so, you know, he's obsessed with his sister, so I say it like a casual thing. But anyway, I'm going to end this gossip talk here. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to all the juicy details of the idols' lives and got a little giggle out of it because it's all fictional. And who knows, maybe you'll pick it up and you'll get to experience all the horrible angst just like I did. Except you're at least warned now. But anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And hopefully I'll see you in another one of my videos. Bye!